Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. There have always been some dodgy characters around the Formula 1 scene, from murderers and people who have beaten up taxi drivers leading to the debut of one of the all-time greats, to people linked with Pablo Escobar and the Colombian drug trade. The latter is what we are looking at today, a national motorsport hero who was involved with drug trafficking gangs and came very, very close to racing in Formula 1. This is the story of Ricardo Londono-Bridge. Remember to subscribe, make all kinds of motor racing themed content. There must be something you like, so subscribe and stick around. And with that said, let's begin.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
Ricardo Londono-Bridge was a Colombian who spent his early years racing in national stock car and motorcycle racing, and was apparently very successful at it. I say apparently because no one has really kept records of this time, so by all accounts he won something, maybe many somethings, but it's really hard to find out what he won. But what he was definitely good at was trafficking drugs, which funded his motorsport activity, even meeting famed drug lord, hippo tamer and narco star Pablo Escobar. Ricardo Londono left Colombia for the United States for completely legitimate reasons and raced in the 12 Hours of Sebring in 1979 in a Porsche 935 Turbo that didn't finish the race. In 1980 he raced in the Daytona 24 Hours race, finishing 7th overall and 2nd in class. Clearly this guy wasn't useless behind the wheel. But his financing is suspect. He self-entered a Lola T530 Chevrolet into the 1980 Can-Am series with money from a totally legitimate car dealership in Cali, a sports supplier and some private investment. 10 guesses where all this money came from. He did pretty well in the series, almost always qualifying in the top 10, finishing well and ending the year 12th overall in the series. He also had a go in the British Formula 1 Championship for Colin Bennett Racing in a Lotus 78, at the final race of the year at Silverstone, finishing 7th. Ricardo Londono-Bridge also had a go at the European Formula 2 Championship with Docking Spitzley Team Tolman, but that was after his sole attempt at Formula 1, entering the Brazilian Grand Prix of 1981 with the tiny and struggling Team Ensign. Team Ensign was founded by Maurice Nunn, and was a very small team that had been struggling on for years with very few good results to show for the hard work. In 1981 the team was on its last legs and in desperate need for cash. So when a rich Colombian walks in with a suitcase filled to the brim with cash and asks to drive your Formula 1 car in a Grand Prix, you can understand why they put him in the race seat. As I said before, Londono was clearly not a terrible driver, but Formula 1 was a huge step up. Mo Nunn was actually recommended Londono by old friend Colin Bennett, who was now working for Team Ensign, and with money from friend Pablo Escobar, Ricardo Londono-Bridge became the first Colombian to participate in Formula 1, although very briefly. As Formula 1 had been away from the Jacarapagua track for 3 years, an acclimatization session was held for drivers to get used to the track. Even without a super license, Ricardo Londono-Bridge was allowed out and did 10 laps off the track, 4 seconds off the top time, which would have been good enough for a top 20 start in the race. But it all started going wrong for Ricardo Londono-Bridge from there. Annoyed by the mere presence of Londono, Keke Rosberg pulled in front of him and braked early, causing a collision, which was very brave on his part. Did no one tell him about Ricardo Londono-Bridge's links with the Medellin cartel? Rosberg probably spent the rest of the weekend hiding in a Portaloo. Team Ensign didn't hand over the evidence from their point of view of the crash, and it was decided to be Londono's fault. So FISA refused to grant him a super license to race. Although apparently Bernie Ecclestone put the kibosh on Londono taking part when he found out about his cartel links. It's weird seeing Bernie Ecclestone take the moral high ground, but I guess it has to happen sometimes. Team Ensign kept the money, but they gave the race drive to Swiss journeyman Marc Surer, who qualified 18th and finished 4th, which is a damn good result for an Ensign. Londono-Bridge didn't do much after his Formula 1 disappointment, apart from the aforementioned European Formula 2 races, after which some of his sponsors managed to get arrested, and all he could manage was a few sports car drives and some racing in Colombia. His racing career ended in 1986 after the 1986 24 Hours of Daytona, in which he raced in a Pontiac Firebird alongside Diego Montoya, the uncle of future Formula 1 driver Juan Pablo Montoya. Should we be checking into his finances? Mark Sura wouldn't finish the season with Ensign, being replaced by Chilean Eliseo Salazar for the rest of 1981, before the team hired another Colombian in Roberto Guerrero for 1982, and then the team went under after 1982. Ricardo Londono-Bridge spent the rest of his life profiting from the sale of drugs. He lost $10 million worth of property in classic cars after 2,600 pounds of cocaine were found in his house, also known as a slow weekend at Lindsay Lohan's. He made a few appearances in motorsport here and there in Colombia, but in 2009 he was shot to death in a hotel with some of his dodgy mates by members of the Los Urabenos. If it wasn't for his links with organised crime, Ricardo Londono-Bridge could have been a good driver in various categories for any team that took him on. He was quick on his day and performed well in various categories, but his links to cartels made him too hot to handle for any serious racing team that wasn't desperate for cash. Outside a good season in Can-Am and a few decent sports car appearances in his career, racing never really took off. But drugs, now that was a business he understood. So if you enjoyed this video, why not check out some of the others I have made. I tend to do a few videos a week, so remember to subscribe. Once we hit 500, I have a few special videos planned, so it'll be great if you can hit that button. Also leave a comment with your thoughts, leave a like and a share. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.